All species of birds experience 5 or more changes to their plumage colour during their lifetime. These changes mark the stages in a bird's maturity. We will now explore some of the interesting reasons behind these colour changes. To answer the question, why do birds undergo several changes of colour to their plumage during their lifetime? When the baby chick comes out of the egg, it may be born with fluffy natal plumage, or it may be born naked, after which it will begin growing its soft downy feathers. During this stage, the bird will have no resemblance to the mature adult it is eventually to become. In many species, these fluffy feathers are usually speckled white and grey, such as with the dusky wood swallow and the silver gull. In others, it may be black and white striped, such as with the great crested grebe and emu. This may assist in the camouflaging the young one while they are in the nest, as they match the nest lining. As they rapidly grow, they begin to molt their natal plumage and develop their juvenile plumage, which is their next stage. They begin to take the shape of the adult, but their plumage is usually dull brown, black or grey earthy colours, which affords them protection for around the nest, which for passerines allows them to blend in with the surrounding tree bark and appear invisible to predators under the dark canopy of the tree. Another feature of the juvenile plumage is that both male and female birds usually look the same at this stage. Since passerines do not possess a penis and both sexes have a cloaca for conception, it is often impossible at this stage to know male from female. During this next stage, the bird will begin to undergo plumage metamorphosis to gradually adopt adult plumage. This immature stage varies in time for each species, some taking several years to mature, as with the white-bellied seagull and satin bowerbird. During the immature stage, both male and female start to gain the colours of the adult female of the species, with the males molting into their mature adult phase when they have reached breeding age. This affords them the grace of not attracting females prematurely, as can be seen here with the Australian king parrot. For many bird species, such as with the Australian black swan and the white-bellied seagull, each molt displays distinct characteristics which help to assess the age of the bird, making it a useful tool for birders and ornithologists. Toward the end of this stage, the male and female characteristics begin to become visible in the plumage, as they begin to take on the appearance of the mature adult. Distinct colour differences become noticeable in the plumage, as well as the eye, beak and feet. The most notable differences in many species are seen in the male, who usually adorns a much brighter and more colourful plumage than the female, such as with robins and whistlers. This affords them protection in the nest when they are very vulnerable to predators. In this fourth stage, where the bird adorns the full mature adult plumage, it identifies for the other birds of the species the sex of the bird and also that this bird is within breeding age. In some species, such as with the white-browed tree creeper and Australian log runner, the female has the distinguishing mark, but in most species it is a male. Identical plumage in male and female birds is a feature in many birds that mate or pair for life, such as the masked lapwing and the rainbow lorikeet, and most of the parrot family, where seasonal attraction of the mate is not required. Most bird species retain their mature plumage for the remainder of their life, but many species undergo a fifth stage or seasonal change of plumage, which is referred to as breeding plumage. Many males, and in some species the female, molt their adult plumage to form a more spectacular and often colourful breeding plumage, usually only for a few months while they are breeding, after which they molt back to their eclipsed non-breeding adult plumage. The plumage signifies to the opposite sex that they are available and able to breed and form a family, attracting the female for mating purposes. This is particularly a feature in bird species that have multiple breeding partners. It may also warn other males to stay away while he is in the company of females. The changes are quite remarkable in some species, as with the superb and splendid fairy wren, where most people often know the bird as the blue wren because they only notice it in its breeding plumage. When it returns to its plain non-breeding plumage, it can be mistaken for the female, but for its blue tail and white chest. Fairy wrens can breed several times a year, molting back and forth from breeding to non-breeding plumage. Many songbirds that do not display breeding plumage but have distinct male characteristics, such as the golden and rufous whistler, have a courting or breeding song to attract the female and ward off intruders during nesting. This is why these species are mainly only heard during spring and summer, whereas the superb lyrebird breeds during winter months, so males are heard and seen displaying mostly during autumn. In summary, it can be appreciated that in a bird's world, plumage colour and appearance have a very practical and purposeful function. It is not just for show, though we all admire their many and varied beautiful colours. This again is a product of intelligent design.